Hi, I'm Wayne and this is Bassador Woodworking. I bought another Radial Arm Saw. Now, anyone who follows the channel knows that I already have two Radial Arm Saws. First, I have this 10-inch Craftsman Radial Arm Saw. This is my main cross-cutting saw for the shop. My second Radial Arm Saw is this 9-inch DeWalt from the 1950s or so. This is set up as a dedicated dado station. So rightfully you are probably asking, why do I need a third Radial Arm Saw? The short answer is I don't, but the longer, more accurate answer is because I have this attachment that is kind of a pain in the neck to set up. So any opportunity I would have to use it, I don't, because I don't want to have to reset the saw. This is a 6x48-inch slack belt sander attachment that Craftsman sold alongside their Radial Arm Saws. My father gave this to me. He said that it worked really well the few times he used it, but it is kind of a pain to set up, so it didn't get set up all that much. And as far as I can tell, there are no instructions anywhere on the internet of how to set up and use this. And my father did give me all of the directions on how to do it. I have no idea where I put those. So we're gonna figure it out. Before I can get the Radial Arm Saw set up, I have to get it all cleaned up. I'm also going to remove it from the base because this is gonna be table mounted. I'm just gonna put it into the mobile tool cart for the time being. And then as I start to use it and figure out what kind of needs, I'll then build something more permanent for it. But I did pick up some MDF and some hardboard to make a table for it. I'm not going to be using this as a saw really at all. So I'm not going to put a fence or anything on it. It's going to be purely a sanding station. If I don't use it as a sanding station, it will get packed away as spare parts for the other 10-inch Craftsman that I have.
My first step was to give the saw a thorough cleaning. This was a well-maintained saw, but it was still caked in years worth of sawdust and just general grease and grime. I used my air compressor to blow off any loose debris before coating all surfaces with some Super Clean. Full disclosure, Super Clean sent me a selection of their products a few months ago to use around the shop, and I've been really impressed with them. For this project, I'm using their general cleaner / degreaser along with their foaming cleaner. They both work really well at cleaning the years of gunk off the saw. The cleaner allowed me to have a nice neutral surface to reapply lubrication to all of the important bits of the saw. By far my favorite thing about this saw is that it doesn't weigh nearly as much as the DeWalt.
Okay, now the Radial Arm Saw is mounted to the workbench, and I have just a basic table mounted to the Radial Arm Saw. It's just held in place with a couple of bolts and a couple of clamps. Once I have the sander all working and everything, I will then install a more permanent type table tailored to the needs of a sanding table. So now I'm going to kind of just try to figure out how to hook this sander up. So this could be quick, it could be agonizing. Yeah. Okay, so here is the body of the sander. I believe the part that I'm most confident in is I believe this whole unit needs to rotate. So I've got to figure out where the lock for that is. Place. All right, now. Probably still important to this thing. Put both bushings on. Put the pulley on. So you see I have One of the things is this little belt pulley. I'm assuming that is really important. I'm guessing that this is what drives the actual sander. Not knowing how machines work and everything, that's probably correct. And just to make sure that nothing is irreparably broken so far. Good to go. Now this belt has a shitload of memory in it, but let's see how it goes. Now, I believe
hooking up the sander was not difficult, it was just a matter of getting everything aligned correctly, and since this thing is old, it uses flathead screws, which is annoying but fine.
you are locked on. Now a belt goes from here onto that. This is the belt guard, which pretty obviously just screws onto here. So the way I've been told this works is this thing will spin the belt and stuff, and you have this little hand mitt that you, I guess, stick above the thing, and you then apply some pressure down onto the sandpaper. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna grab just a scrap piece of some kind of wood. Got this oak here. We will raise this up so that we're above the top of the oak. Close enough. Alright, let's see if this works. Oh. Let's loosen the tension on the belt a little bit. Might have tripped this thing out a little bit, so let's... Alright. 3, 2, 1. Okay, and I blew that one. That one went quicker. So I need something that can handle the full 15 amp draw that this thing wants. This is the dedicated circuit that operates my table saw. This is on its own dedicated 20 amp circuit. If anything in this room can power this, it should be this, without it tripping the breaker. Let's try that. Okay, and that popped the breaker. It was working. Gotta go plug you. Did I trip the internal breaker on this guy? No. This is still lit. Okay, I'm gonna take all the covers off because I keep blowing the breaker anytime I try to run this thing. And I gotta kind of find out why. So it seems like the thing will run, but I think it's drawing so many amps that the motor's heating up and it's kicking in the safety on the Radial Arm Saw's motor. So then it just clicks off, and then it takes a few minutes for that to reset because there must be a thermal switch in there. and once it cools down enough that a reset will take, then power the saw back on and everything works fine. Not ideal though, because there's got to be a way that you can adjust this so that it doesn't do that, because this was built for this machine. So there shouldn't be a problem with like, well, this isn't designed to do that. This should be a purely, I don't have this thing dialed in correctly type thing. So hopefully taking these covers off will let me see everything in movement, in motion, figure out where things are binding, provide lubricants to the areas that it needs. Alright, let's get the belt back on there. There's also the belt is super tight. That's tracked better than it was before. I was thinking that putting it as loose as possible would at least get this thing spinning, but maybe it needs to be dialed in prior. Alright, it's plugged into my saw still. Yeah, perfect. That's working a lot better. Alright. It was starting to wander on me though, so let's turn that up just a teensy bit more. Take that down. That, promising. Alright, so now let's swing this thing around so that I'm facing it the right way. See if I can get it to let me use it. I believe this is the way it intends for you to use it, or intend for it to face. Some variation of this. Let's bring you out more so that you're not out there. Get rid of you. Yeah, you can tuck down there, that's fine. Alright. Got a bunch of scrap on this from when I was testing my thing, so let's see how this goes. That's all tracking straight now. It's obviously running backwards to how it's supposed to, but okay, and it's all set. I think I'm gonna leave it like this for now. I need to figure out first where to source some more belts. Shouldn't be hard. I'll just have to cut a belt in half, measure what the width and length of it is, order a few more belts of different grits. I'm gonna try to think of a better guard system that's easier to remove, even if I just kind of make it so that it uses those automotive clips so you can just pop it on and off. But I didn't find any documentation online of how to put this thing together, so it sat up on a shelf in my shop for about 3 years because it's kind of a pain to set up. And I wouldn't ever use this if it was not readily mounted to a radial arm saw. And since they are so readily available on Facebook Marketplace for almost nothing, it's cheaper to set this up than it would be for me to go out and find a purpose-built slack belt sander. So this is gonna go 3, 2, 1. So this is going to work out for me great. You'll see it in a bunch of more videos coming up. I'm already thinking this is going to make sanding guitar bodies way easier, so that's great. I did also confirm that once you have the belt tracking properly and you have it tensioned properly, it doesn't just trip any breaker that you connect it to. It does actually just run fine once everything is set up properly on any circuit. So that's a huge relief. I did squirt some lubricant into any moving parts just to get it so that it's not so crusty. I have it mounted to a cart now, so it's easier to move around, and I can't wait to use this on a project. I mostly want to make this video because I hadn't seen a lot of information online about these and how to set it up, and I'd never seen it functioning before. It was never set up in my dad's shop when he had it, so I've never seen the thing actually functioning. So I figured at the very least I've now provided a resource on how to hook this thing up. It takes a really weird sized belt, so I have some more belts coming in of different grits. Right now I just have an 80 grit on there, and it should be fine for roughing out anything. But yeah, thank you for watching. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to keep up to date with new projects as they are released, and until next time, thank you.